there. My name is Zoyer. I'm up here again. I used to be a student at this school. And I'm also the former president of Diversity Club a couple times. I'm so proud to see this event still going on, and I'm so grateful for Zeke and Jamie and everybody else that helped, Kat, Katrina, and Curtis, and everybody. So, good job, guys. I told you my name is Zoyer, but my name has not always been Zoyer. Let me read you a poem that I wrote, and it explains where I'm at as far as my name. It's called No Funeral for Emily. No funeral for Emily. No matter how far I've gone, I can't help but stop and turn around, thinking of all the emotional and societal obstacles overcome and gone. For the real me, I've searched and found. I used to condemn the persona of my former self. His name is Emily. As if in desperation to cry for help, I'd say, Emily is a she and she is not me. But how convenient is this response when I err in favor of others and society's perception of me? Amongst the wilderness of identities, I am lost. But then again, I think, why should I leave it to others to construct my identity? Amongst the vast wilderness of identities, I begin to reconcile who I am. There will be no funeral for Emily. And as time passes, I begin to understand he is real and he is still me. And a combination of our souls, time, and experiences serves to create a stable soul of unity. Since Zoyer and Emily are the same, I can qualify by saying Zoyer is simply Emily enhanced. Seasoned with well-rounded, down-to-earth understanding, my transition has been everything but in vain. Has been anything but in vain. There will be no funeral for Emily. He has been with me the whole time, yet others' perceptions makes me real. But to an extent, they cannot see what's been going on for years in my mind. There will be no funeral for Emily. I define me. For others, I understand it's difficult. I understand I am transcending their perception of gender reality. Now the definition of transsexual has legs, feet, and hands. I can testify for our movement by simply being me. There will be no funeral for Emily. For you, it may be easier to see me as an entity of two, first a girl, then a boy. But for me, I'd rather show the in-betweenness and spectrums of gender to you, because unveiling its depth and boundless areas of gray gives me such infinite joy. I implore you, think of all the other ways our souls and bodies do not line up. This reality moves beyond the situation of me. I take comfort in the fellowship when times are rough. There will be no funeral for Emily. Together, he and Zoyer live in harmony. I talk a lot, or I speak in the poem about others' perception of me. Over time during my transition, I learned that discovering who I am deals with my relationship with myself, and that though I have let go of others' perception of me, I still am learning to let go, and by that I mean I don't like to construct my own feelings about myself based on how I think others see me. That has been a challenge for me, but I'm growing. It's kind of like if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around, did anybody hear it? Did the tree really fall? I use that example to show how others' perception of you can help you build your perception of yourself. I think that a lot of people do find it easier to see me as first a girl and then a boy, rather than kind of going through this transition to become something better, something more me. I think the reason why people find it easier to see me as either one, now the other, or just was one, now the other, is because it's hard for people in the society to see people as being in between genders, or having no gender, or just anything other than man or woman simply. I have to say though, I'm very grateful for the community. If it weren't for the GLB, I wouldn't have found my T. I wouldn't have known who I was if it wasn't for the other queer people around me, and I thank them full-heartedly for that. I think during my transition, I came to understand that there is a lot of confusion about what's what in the community. There's all these labels and therefore all these confusions. It's hard to know what is the difference between a very masculine lesbian and a pre-op trans boy. It is difficult to see the difference between a drag queen and sometimes a male to female transsexual. I implore you, do not get mad at the groups for this confusion, but instead be empowered to educate those around you so we can understand and embrace our differences in this sense. Transition changed the way I view people and gender altogether. I have these theories. I have a theory of the three continuums. I believe that gender, first of all, I believe that gender is a continuum. It's not simply man, woman, boy, girl, pink, blue, that sort of thing. I believe gender is a variant thing, and it's in degrees. It's a spectrum. On one side is male or masculine, on the other side is female. I think there is a continuum for how people identify. There is also a gender continuum for how people behave. Do they behave masculine or feminine? I also believe there is a continuum for how you present yourself. Do you appear feminine or masculine? Do you look like a boy or a girl or something else? Something wonderful, something else. I also assert that though I am transsexual, I identify as T, it's short for transsexual. I am T, but not to the T. By this, I mean just because I identify as male, it does not mean I need to emulate everything that I perceive as male. Doesn't mean that all of a sudden I'm going to become John Wayne or become Super Mr. Macho and do all that. I did not leave one stereotype to embrace another. Transition is about becoming me, not about becoming a gender. But gender is part of it nonetheless. Transgender is a state of being, not a desire. It's not like I was a girl who wants to be a guy, or that Katrina was a guy that wants to be a girl. No, it's not like that. It's just there is something very different going on in our mind, and that contrasts the way we were born physically. I believe there are three not okays in society. I touched up on this a little. In this society, there's a lot of stigma being in between genders. We need to overcome that. There is also a lot of stigma with being not identifying as any gender, and also identifying as multiple genders, switching back and forth, having this sort of gender fluidity or gender multiplicity.